What is my bearded dragon's morph? And what is a translucent? Let's dig into it and let's find out. The trans, short for translucent, is a recessive genetic trait. Hello everybody, this is Derek from Boss Dragons. Thank you for tuning in. And in this segment, we're going to talk about the trans, short for translucent. The translucent, which means to be transparent or see-through, it is a recessive mutation that causes a partially see-through scales and solid black eyes. The trans is a homozygous, is a visual genetic copy of itself. In this video, I want to discuss the genetic makeup of the translucent and how does it affect the appearance of your bearded dragon. Genetic makeup of a trans is they have black eyes. The hatchlings usually hatch with all black eyes and blue underbellies by their abdomen, where there is a lining that ends towards the torso, and that's the membrane that appears that the abdomen looks like is blue. So that's how you can tell that you have a trans. It's very important to learn about what each mutation means and how to identify them and how it affects genetically appearance on the bearded dragon. So you have to be very careful because there's a lot of breeders misleading and mislabeling. I don't know, maybe it's on purpose, some is not on purpose because they're not having the full understanding of the genetic makeup, what the trans does, and how to truly identify them. And I'm here to teach you so you don't have to possibly get scammed or get an animal that you're not sure of. What effects that it does to your bearded dragon and how it enhances the bearded dragon's appearance. When you're working with the trans, when you have offsprings of your own, or if you purchase an offspring, most of the times the offsprings will have solid black eyes, regardless of what it looks. It's always going to be a trans, whether it has not solid black eyes or not as a vivid, bright abdomen blue belly, because some can appear less and more than others. This is like a really confusion for breeders that are really coming up, or people trying to purchase an animal and try to understand what they're actually having. So here I'm going to try to explain as simple as possible for the new consumers coming into it and new breeders that are coming in to understand. So what I want to teach is what exactly the trans does to your bearded dragon. One of the effects that the trans does is that when you have them, when they're first born as an offspring, they appear partially transparent. They're not like see-through, completely see-through, but a lot of them can become very see-through more than others, that you can see a lot more inside with the dragon. It's kind of crazy and interesting and exciting because it's like something you don't see. Sometimes trans babies can have like little red veinings that you normally don't see on your normal bearded dragon, because the normal bearded dragon obviously would have coloration and pigmentation coloring that you won't be able to see that, but the trans, you can. The trans have more like a glossy glass look. It looks like plastic scalation behind the crowning of the head. It's like if you see the spikes and you see it really close, you can see that they're partially clear. They look plastic. It looks like a piece of glass ornaments from icicles in their crown, or any spikes, any scale spikes on them would appear like a little bit transparent, meaning like it looks fake, it doesn't look real, but it makes things nice and beautiful because the trans makes everything a lot better. What the trans effect does, when you see it, they become more bright It's an enhancement to your beta dragon's look. That's what the trans really do. It's more like enhancement to you. It's like an upgrade to something a lot better. It's like when you see a normal beta dragon and you see a trans beta dragon, and you're gonna see what more color pops out a lot more. The trans, of course. The trans, it increases, enhances the beta dragon's appearance and how it affects and how it looks polygenic wise. Meaning what color, doesn't matter what color it is, it's going to amplify that look to look a lot better. It's like an enhancement. It doesn't matter if what you do to what you want to pair with it, but do it responsibly and respectfully, pairing them, or if you're buying them just for a show dragon for yourself, that is perfectly fine. But I'm talking about to the new upcoming breeders, to make sure you respect these animals and really know what you're getting yourself into before you're getting it, because you need to understand the genetic makeup from each recessive beta dragon out there to understand what you want to go move forward on and what you want to do and stay away from when you pair these types of dragon genetics, because some can go together and some can't. You just got to learn all of this, and you come to the right place. So I could try to explain this dragon a lot simpler than what is out there, because there's forums that has a misunderstanding of what the trans is and what it does, and there's a lot of bad stories about them. A lot of them are not true, and because you have to, as a breeder, have to collect data and collect it for yourself to know exactly what they do and how it affects badly on other things. That's how you learn and grow. That's just being honest. To learn something, you have to do it in order to see what comes out of it. That's how you grow. How else you think other breeders have done it? They tell you they have done it, and then they say not to stay away from it. But sometimes they can mislead you to something else, and it's not what it seems to be. So that's why I said it's better to have collective data on your own, because not every breeder has the best interest of what you're trying to do. So remember that. I am honest, I'm straightforward, I'll tell you how it is. That's who I am. I don't beat around the bush. I go straight forward and I'll tell you what it is instead of what it isn't, okay? So that's why I want to teach this, so all of you could have a better understanding of what these bearded dragons do, specifically how they look by appearance and how it affects the bearded dragons. They don't have really like that dark pigmentation or thick pigmentation in the beginning where it hides the membrane. The membrane appears like that because it's transparent in the beginning, but as they progress as juveniles and forward onto the evolution stages to their adult stage, it will finalize itself and the scales will start to thicken, and it will start to lessen the appearance of the blue coming out of the chest. And the reason of that is because the abdomen starts to get thickened with the scales, and it starts to progressively lessen the blue tinting. Sometimes the blue will stay, sometimes the blue will fade, or sometimes the blue will just stay, neutral. It will stay in between, or sometimes it's just gone completely. The trans works in mysterious ways, but there is nothing wrong with the trans like a lot of people would say. And I just want to teach how they look appearance-wise, and periodically through time, their eyes also transitions back and forth. The eyes will be black, eyes will be sometimes brown, and with like a little tint of like shadowing dark black around it, and it's not completely black. Don't worry, because this is not something unusual. This is what the trans does. And to understand the trans, you can't really understand why it does that, because it just does it. It's just the way the trans gene works. The eyes of the iris sometimes will be a goldenish brown, like with a shadow tint, like outlining that's black, and it looks like it's gonna turn completely black, but it's not. It just stays like halfway black throughout both eyes, or sometimes one eye will be brown and one eye will be like black. It's just what they do. Breeders mislabel that and they will call it a partial trans, and that's pretty much not understanding the real genetic makeup and how mutation works, because there is no such thing as partial trans. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you're recessive, you cannot be partially recessive, because a recessive is a homozygous. It's a copy of visual of its own self. It's a genetic makeup of both parents that they carry it visually. So you cannot be a partial trans. So if you hear that, it's maybe the breeder doesn't have a fully understanding how genetic works. No insults to anybody, but sometimes this was taught and this causes all confusion, and I would love that confusion to end, because there is no such thing as being partially recessive or partially a homozygous. Meaning if you're a homozygous, you cannot be partially that. You're a homozygous or you're not a homozygous. If you're not a homozygous, then you're most likely a heterozygous. So there's no such thing. So please go running far away as you can if you see that, if a breeder's trying to push that at you, because they could mislead you and you're not completely understanding on what you have. So please be aware of this. This is essential for you to know so you can protect yourself from being scammed. Don't mislead to saying it's partial trans. Just because it doesn't have the complete identification what a trans would look like, it doesn't mean that it's partially trans. It's still trans at the end of the day. And that's what I'm trying to teach, so you guys could understand what you have in front of you, because there's no such thing as that. So I could get a lot of hate mail from all these breeders and saying I don't know what I'm talking about. Trust me, I do know what I'm talking about. I did a lot of research and scientific research on recessive and homozygous mutations. So there's no such thing as that. So if you're trying to say there's partial trans, that you have a misunderstanding how genetic works and the genetic makeup, how it affects the appearance of that beta dragon. So please do not get it mixed up. Partial trans does not exist. It's something somebody messed up on and tried to explain something, but it just causes miscommunication and confusion to everyone. So again, the translucent has black nails throughout their fingers, all their fingernails, and their toes. All their fingers and toes are black. This is a translucent. They appear transparent, and periodically sometimes there's blue tinting throughout the different parts of their body. That is something normal, but like I said before, when they progress in age and their scales start to thicken more, it starts to progress less of the blue tinting. It starts to fade and go away. So, but don't get down on that, because when they progress and grow, the colors increase, saturated like insane. That's what basically what the trans does. Full extent and ability to explode your mind, because the trans makes everything just that better. It just brightens and saturate things more than your normal average beta dragon will look like. So pretty much what the effects that the trans does, that makes your dragons look more beautiful. The effects of the trans is that it saturates color. It's an enhancement for your beta dragon to look more beautiful. Nothing wrong with other beta dragons. I'm just saying, like, if you want more into your colors, the trans will definitely do that. The trans could work with dark colors, light colors, mediocre colors, whatever color you could put with trans, it's gonna amplify it a lot. It's gonna make it look crazy, insane, that you just be like, what? Did I just hit that? That's crazy. Did I just purchase something this in my hand? Because they are very beautiful. Their effects is beautiful and endless. What also that you can tell that you have a trans is that sometimes they have blue tinting on the eyelids and the top of the head. That's when they're first born. It's like the black iris, the whole eye, everything black is just like crawling out through the transparent skin through on top of the eyelids. It looks crazy. It's amazing. And what you want to do is to make sure that you don't get scammed. And this is why I'm making this video about the trans. And I hope you have a better understanding what the trans does. And there is another trans gene, and it's a 2 recessive, meaning it's 2 recessive genes that are combined through the both genetic makeup of the parents to bring that upon to the offspring's appearance. It's a hypo-trans. And the hypo-trans, what that does, and I explained what the hypo does in my last video. Now I'm going to bring it to this video and say what the hypo-trans does. What the hypo-trans does is it amplifies your color and it also brightens out your color, because the hypo always brightens out everything, no matter what pairing you put it with, what recessive. It always makes things more lighter and brighter, and it makes all dark pigmentation more lighter and brighter. So if you have the hypo-trans, you're gonna have saturated bright colors and light colors. It's not gonna be ever dark. It's never gonna be dark. You can always work at it no matter what polygenic colors you're gonna put to it. You can always have a bloodline that's gonna be that specific polygenic color. It's still the hypo gene part of that recessive inside the trans will always brighten out those colors. So if you want to do a trans and a normal beta dragon with specific polygenic colors that it doesn't brighten, it's a little more darker than usual when they have black melanin nails all through their toes and fingers, and the trans is the same way, and you pair those two together, then you could create saturated darker colors. It will be so beautiful. You can make them very dark, but you have to genetically pair them correctly in order to know what you want to expect when it comes out the eggs. Sometimes like a visual things without even seeing what's going to come out is just weird, because I'm like really good with the genetic pairing and how to mix genetics, because I know what effects on each beta dragon does, and that's how I play with it, and that's what I create because there is like really dark reds out there, and you know, China has a really dark red, and I'm trying to challenge that dark red myself, come out with something dark red myself to challenge those lines. It's a polygenic color line, don't get it twisted. It's not a morph line. It's a polygenic color over time that a period from past generations it doesn't matter what it is. It's a red. They just progressed it a lot further without putting and adding the hypo gene, because the hypo gene would not make those kind of dark dragons. So I'm trying to challenge that and do a friendly competition on that. So hopefully this year or next year I might come up with something that could be close to that. I feel like I'm getting close, and I just love the friendly competition. I'm not trying to cause hate, it's just motivation. I see that, I'm like, wow, that's beautiful. So what can I do, how to get there and possibly make something else that's gonna blow other people's minds away? So stay tuned for that. I just hope that everybody understands what the trans does and what it does to your dragon. I just hope you have a better understanding what the translucent is. Thank you for watching. This is Derek from Boss Dragons, and thank you for tuning in. And we're now up to 1,000 subscribers. I appreciate you all, and thank you for watching, and continue watching, and keep the spark in you, and make sure you go forward whatever you want to do, and I hope you accomplish your goals just like we're trying to accomplish our goals, and we're getting further. And I just hope my spark will spark you and others, and possibly new upcoming breeders, to do a lot better and do better for this new generation coming. I wish you the best of luck. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you on the next one.